All right, good morning. We will call the Bricktown Urban Design Committee meeting to order. I would like to start the meeting. It is 9 o'clock on the dot. We would request that everybody silence their cell phones for the duration of the meeting. Paula, would you please do roll call?
Brent Wall.
Here.
Jonathan Dotson. Kasha Egan.
Here.
Omar Curry.
Present. Present.
Richard McCowan. Here. Ava Scaramucci.
Present.
And Sandino Thompson. You have a quorum.
All right. We need to approve the minutes from December 13th, 2017. Did anybody have any revisions or concerns about the meeting or the minutes?
So moved.
If not, we will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Scaramucci. And a second, please.
I second.
Okay, seconded by Omar. And do we have to vote? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. We have one case that was withdrawn. Michael, would you like to update us on this?
This is the case that involved the proposed event center on the Bricktown Canal next to the mini putt-putt golf course. The bulk of that project was approved at one of your meetings back in, I think, August of 2017. There was one outstanding item related to a water feature at the front of the facility on the canal side at the canal level. And they were supposed to come back with details on the design for that, revised to address the committee's concerns. But they have not made any progress towards giving us any new designs for that. And as per standard practice, we will close out a case and have it withdrawn after 6 months of no forward progress. That's just kind of the summation of where we're at with that project.
Thank you. We have no continuance requests today. Item 5, the consent docket. Are there any items on the consent docket that the Commission would like to look at or consider individually?
I just have one question on item 5A.
Okay. Did anybody else have questions on 5A?
And it's a very quick one. Are they redoing are they cleaning the brick and bringing it back to its original color?
No, there's no change to the brick color.
Because the rendering that...
Yeah, we had a comment, make a citizen, about the pinkish hue of the brick.
Okay.
They're not changing the brick.
Gotcha.
Just the window exchange and the removal of the signs.
Okay. That's the only question I had.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question on 3A. Is it too late to go back to 3A for Michael?
Sure.
I was wondering, the rest of the project has been approved, so they are going ahead with that part of the project.
No, all reports.
So the whole thing has...
All reports that we have seen is that corporate entity is having a variety of difficulties financially and otherwise.
Okay.
No, the CA is still valid.
Yeah, the CA is still valid.
Somebody could still construct the rest of it. It's just the waterfall item that's been withdrawn.
Okay, so the rest of it is on schedule, or it's been pulled, or it's in jeopardy?
We don't know that other than what we read in the news. The CA is still...
The CA is valid until August
Okay,
of
but they're-
2019.
Yes, okay.
But we don't expect them to
Yes,
proceed on it. We have not seen any permits
Okay.
to execute the project or anything like that.
So if it does not come to fruition, it will just go away? We do not have to, again...
It's conceivable that somebody could come in and request an extension, but...
Okay, thank you.
Okay, back to items 5A and 5B. If we don't have any individual consideration, we'll entertain a motion to approve the consent docket.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Okay, the consent docket is passed. Items number 6A, items for individual consideration. This is for to construct an elevated ADA ramp in Bricktown. Michael, would you like to give us a little rundown on that one?
Well, first of all, this is a project of the city's Public Works project department, and we've made some calls over there to have somebody present to respond to any questions that the committee may have, but I will give you a brief rundown of what's been proposed.
Michael, I'm sorry, so we don't know if somebody's coming?
No, we do not.
Okay. Can I suggest we hear the rest of the agenda real
Okay.
quick and see if they come in?
Sure. Okay. We will proceed on to item 7, other business. Any other business?
Sorry, I thought there wasn't. I thought the mural still had to go on. Okay, never mind. Yeah, we can go ahead and go back to 6A.
Okay, this is a Public Works Department project for the entirety of the stretch of Oklahoma Avenue from Main Street, East Main Street south down to East Reno Avenue. We have approved at staff level administratively a variety of other proposed improvements consisting of replaced brick sidewalk, new street lamps, new curbing, new driveways, a whole host of various public works improvements that are geared primarily to improve the ADA access up and down that stretch of Oklahoma Avenue and bring it into compliance with current ADA standards. The one item that we did not approve administratively, we've brought forward to the committee because we have a concern, and it is a handicap ramp on the east side of Oklahoma Avenue on the south side of the canal. And the reason it's needed is because these lifts that are currently unoperational are being removed as part of the project. And in order to maintain ADA accessibility, they have to install ramps. They are doing another ramp similar to this on the north side of the canal, west side of the street, but it does not hamper or impact the visual access to the canal the way this one, the way we feel this one does. So because of that concern over the visual access, we've brought it forward to the committee for action. So as I was saying, this handicap lift in this location is going to be removed as part of the project and then replaced with a ramp that will, I've done my best to try and replicate what it will look like with this yellow overlay here. In addition to the yellow overlay, there will be railings on, I think, the inside and the outside of this ramp, which I couldn't replicate for you. And the basic concern that we have is, as you can see with this yellow area, it's taking out a pretty good chunk of the existing visual access to the canal from the street level. And there's a guideline that talks about maintaining visual access to the canal. So we just wanted to bring that item to the committee's attention, and ultimately we're recommending approval, but we do want to make sure that the committee is aware of the fact that we have the guideline about the visual access to the canal. So
I do have a question. Are they removing all of the elevators around the canal in that area?
the only two elevators being eliminated with this project are this one on the east side of the street, and there's another one on the north side of the canal on the west side of the street. There is an elevator also on the east side of the street. I'm not sure if I put the picture in here or not. Anyway, there's an elevator on the west side of the street that is directly across the street from this, also on the south side of the canal, but west side of the street. That elevator is also not operating. So when they remove So currently, right now, there's no ADA access at Oklahoma Avenue because all three mechanical means of providing that access are not functioning.
Right.
So they're taking out two of them. I've talked to Public Works about the elevator and the possibility of having that repaired, and that is in discussion, but it's not part of this project.
Well, and this is just concerns. First of all, there has been no ADA access for a very, very long time. So it's no more an emergency now than it was 2 years ago or longer. But I'm wondering if there is something that could be done other in lieu of this, even if it is maintaining one of the elevators or more versus putting up something that I think aesthetically does not do any goodwill towards the canal or area.
I asked about the elevator and whether or not, if it were functioning, would it suffice to provide the necessary ADA access, and the answer I got was no. I'm not quite clear. I don't remember exactly why that was. I think it's because it only provides access down to the canal level and not to some other level that exists on this side of the canal. So the fact of the matter is, once this lift goes away, a ramp is going to be needed to get from the street level to this upper level here, and given the offsetting grade, they need X amount of distance to make up that grade and still comply with ADA. So this is their best scenario solution to resolve that problem.
Is this also best practice, in other cities that have these kinds of issues? How do other people address this? Has the city checked into that?
Well, when you're talking about trying to maintain visual access to the canal here, it's not an issue that comes up in every city, but from our standpoint, when we have that guideline to adhere to, our preference would be to, keep the lift and make it work. But I guess it's probably a function of maintenance time and financial limitations or
Understood.
whatever to keep that thing running in an operational condition.
Are these private? Some of them are privately held. Are these
I believe
public or private?
these are Parks Department owned and operated, because the Parks Department owns and maintains the canal. If we had somebody from Public Works, they could probably answer your questions more directly than I can, but
would it be possible to wait until somebody could come and discuss this?
we already made a call about 10 minutes before the meeting started.
Yeah, we could continue it to the next meeting.
Once something is done, it's probably going to be permanently done. Nobody's going to reconsider it when another viable alternative would perhaps appear. So I'd like to at least have opportunity to really ask some questions.
Well, as Lisa indicated, the option to the committee has is to continue the item to the next meeting.
Okay.
I move to continue to the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to continue the item to the next meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. Okay, the motion passes. We will look at this again at our next meeting, hopefully next month in March. We've already looked at item number 7, other business, which was none. We had 5 items on the communications report, administrative approval report. Item 8B, any comments from the planning staff? Okay. Any comments from the committee members?
I've got one.
Yes, sir.
I was
kind of curious, this is something that came up in a few previous conversations around Bricktown, but we have significant amounts of construction taking place, in particular construction that's going to come up to, which is a good thing actually, but along the lines of supporting pedestrian sort of access and activity at the street corners and hard corners and things like that. We have construction, I think, that will increasingly encroach on the sidewalks and into the streets around Bricktown. And I'm curious what sort of maybe ordinances or requirements, guidelines that may exist around temporary access, temporary pedestrian access during construction projects. And I would think in particular, there are a few pretty large-scale projects that have happened and are about to happen. I think with the streetcar construction, we've kind of seen there's a lot of places where we lose sidewalks for periods of time. So I was curious to get feedback from staff on what current sort of requirements and/or guidelines might exist around that question for like temporary pedestrian access, sidewalks, and that kind of thing during construction projects.
I do not know, but I can find out and get back to you. And we don't see the temporary construction. We don't see the work permit plans, and I don't know what people are required to submit.
That would be lovely.
I will do it.
Yeah.
That would be lovely, thank you, because we're seeing a current example of it with Gary Brooks at the First National, where and I understand there was debris that became an issue, but specifically as the Renaissance goes up, for example, that's going to be a high construction project, and that is concerning at the corner of Oklahoma and Sheridan.
Yeah, and I just think, I mean, in general, thinking about, one, the amount of residential that's coming into Bricktown, which is a great thing. So I think that it used to be, the pedestrian counts are really the weekend traffic is what kind of drove that. But we're really seeing, I think, Bricktown, this might be a larger issue for, other downtown districts or sort of really dense districts. But I would just anticipate the next few years in the Bricktown area, sidewalks and the streets, frankly, but just those pathways just become a lot more prominent for people to get from one side to the other. So maybe thinking about what it is that we're supposed to do around temporary access. This might be a good time, maybe a little late, but better late than never. So.
Good point. Thank you. All right. Our next meeting date is set for March 14th, 2018. Michael, how are we looking right now with applications?
Yesterday was a deadline, and I don't think we got anything in that's going to need to come to you. So I think we may be looking at a cancellation, but we'll confirm that with you at a later date.
Yeah.
I have one quick question.
Yes, sir.
Item 4 in 8A.4, that pretty much does undo what that case for one case for individual consideration that we talked about. They're kind of tied together. We're not approving that part, are we?
No, everything under item 8A has been approved by staff administratively.
Right, but there's an item number 4 that they're removing the wheelchair lifts, reconstruction sidewalks. Is that part of the...
Yeah, it's the same project.
Okay, so we're not approving that portion of it.
No, we've already approved that. We just brought that one item to you because we had a concern about the visual access to the canal.
Okay. So if they take out the wheelchair lifts and reconstruct sidewalks, are they...
Well, the ramp will come back. Well, actually, we will be back here in March because we continued an item to that agenda. So when that comes back to the committee in March, if the committee deems that ramp not to be consistent with the guideline that applies, and they ask that the Public Works Department seek a different solution to the access in this location, then they would be required to do that.
Okay.
All right. If we have no further items, we will adjourn the meeting at 9:20 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.